Hey everybody, welcome to You Are Complete. I'm Bianca Rodriguez, psychotherapist and spiritual teacher, and I am so excited. I am here today with my friend, Dr. Brendan Armm. He is a doctor of acupuncture and oriental medicine.
Perfect, got it.
I got it.
First
I had to look
time.
at my notes. I had to look at my notes for that. Brendan and I actually grew up together. We went to high school together. We hadn't seen each other in like how many years? 15? 20, 15, 20 years?
25? 20
Yeah.
years? Let's say 20.
20 years.
No, because that
That makes us
that's
seem really
20?
old.
Yeah, no, I 25.
Yeah.
25.
No, that makes us seem even older.
Yeah, no, but sorry, that's the way it is. I think. High school is kind of like that. All right, whatever.
Yeah. It's been a while.
Like
It's been
5
a while.
years. It's been like 5 years.
No, it's been longer than that.
It has
but
been a
okay.
long time.
It's been a
like
long time.
another chapter
Of our lives.
Totally feel like another chapter of life. Like it's like another who we were, like another
know.
life, and now it's a different life.
And we've been on these interesting paths, and I'm so excited for everybody to share
Totally.
in experiencing your path, because I think it's so interesting.
Thank
And thank you to the universe for synchronistically bringing us together. I had a coworker that practices here.
Yep.
We are on site today at Lotus East West Medical Center, which Brendan founded.
Yeah.
And he practices here with other modalities, other practitioners in the
Right.
healing arts.
Right.
And let's just get started.
You totally hit it.
Let's just
Every
get
single
started.
part was accurate on that one. It's
Oh,
great.
good. I
Yeah.
love not preparing.
No,
It's
it's
so
just
awesome.
I couldn't have said it better. Yeah.
Okay, good.
That's our clinic. Yeah. That's.
And it's a beautiful space.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a great space. It's all under like a category of holistic medicine, and it's all the practitioners here. They may be different modalities, but that's the theme is
Yeah.
all things holistic.
That's so nice. And we're here in Santa Monica.
Right.
So if you guys are locals, we'll send you all the info
Sure.
at the end.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
That's right.
That's right. All right, so tell me. You have such an interesting story
Okay.
regarding how you became this holistic doctor. So tell us how you got here.
That is a tricky question. It is inshallah. Is that how you say it? Is that
inshallah.
Yeah, God willing. It was not my intention. I came from a family that has a lot of doctors in it, and I just grew up around it, so it was something that science and math was kind of my thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew I was going to be a doctor. We both grew up in Connecticut, and there's no acupuncture there, or there was no acupuncture there, and there was no like holistic or alternative conscious. It was like very, very, it's really small.
Yeah.
So I didn't know anything about it. So I was interested in more cardiology, Western medicine, and I did all kinds of things in that pursuit, like following cardiologists, doing research and other things, immunology and dermatology.
And this was in college?
This was in high school and college.
In high school you already started doing this? Wow.
Oh God, I was like 10. I was
Oh
like
my God.
younger. It was like really early. Just was like, that's what I'm gonna do. So that during summer times, why don't we go like volunteer in the ER in like Bridgeport Hospital and like just run blood from like place to place and do whatever you needed, Like,
That's
as a
incredible. No
teenager.
wonder we didn't spend that much time together.
Yeah,
I was too
that was my
busy,
What are you doing?
drinking and getting into trouble.
Underage drinking. Oh, no comment. No comment. All right, I'll leave that alone. And that was my gig. That was what I did. I was just like that. Or remember Ari? Do you remember Ari also?
Of course.
Okay.
I remember every single person from our grade.
Okay, well, anyway.
Every single person.
His dad got me some summer job, like working in immunology and dermatology at Yale. And I was like, okay, fine. But I was like, I don't want to be a researcher because that was not really my thing. And just, a few other different things within the Western mode. And then even when I got to college, I did the whole pre-med thing. I did the whole medical school application thing. And that was just my life. And I actually remember, did I tell you the story already? There was an acupuncturist. I didn't know.
I don't know if you told me this when we saw each
So
other.
I remember when I was in college, I was a part of like some pre-med honor society, and it was like
Top your class. Top your
it
class.
was kind of like this little like uppity sort of little like alpha something delta. I don't know what it was, but it was something. And they actually had an acupuncturist come in and give a demo or like a talk. And I remember like, you know, watching it, and it was me. Like I turned to like one of, I don't know, someone else who was 20 like I was, and I was like, this is the biggest load of crap. It was totally me. I was like, this is totally like bogus. This is like kidding me. This is not real. You know, so people change.
Oh yeah.
You know, I was like,
I'd be out of business if people didn't change.
Oh yeah, right. Good call. Good call.
Or maybe I'd just keep being in business
Well,
because nobody would ever want to change.
Oh,
but I'd be so sad.
Yeah, I know, because then you'd be like,
yeah,
it's not working. No, but people definitely change, and so, you know, anyways, I had some steam rolling of like a few years. I was like, I'm interested in medicine, but something's not feeling right.
Okay.
And I think the turning point was, it was like a medical school interview, and I remember sitting in the hallway, and there was a bunch of other 21-year-olds, you know, that were waiting in line, all nervous to have an interview to get into the med school. And eventually, and I was like, whatever, this is like, come on, like, chill out, everybody. And it really was. I was like, just not, you know, that was my thing.
Yeah.
So I remember being in the interview, and there was this older doctor, and he said to me, you know, he was asking me questions. We were talking about something, and I made some comment. I was like, oh, you know, the plant on your desk, you know, looks good. Look, it looks like it's well, you know, cared for. It's well tended. And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah, the plant. Like, it looks like it's watered well. I don't know. Someone trims it. It looks like it's good. And he was like, oh, you know, whatever. The janitor takes care of that. And I think it was like at that moment. It's so weird. I was like, this is not for me.
What was it exactly?
You know, it was like, how can you miss, like, as a healer? You know?
The disconnect. Yes, the disconnect.
It's like here's a healer. And yeah, I was like, how can you not see the connection between, I don't know, plants and being present?
Yep.
You know, and being observant of like your surrounding. So, anyways,
and taking care of something that is like another live organism, and also that's, I feel like, like a way that you take care of yourself, and you're aware, like you said, of your surroundings. And just is like totally. He seemed disconnected, and you were like, I don't want to be a disconnected.
I was like looking in his eyes, and it was like, oh, that's it. I'm not going to become an MD. Like right then, it was just like, I mean, I didn't notice it then, but it was probably like 5-10 years later. I was like, that was the moment. It really was. Yeah. So. Anyways, and you know, and whatever. I mean, I grew up like my mother was like a, you know, like a green thumb. Like she was always in the garden, you know. So like that was in our home of like taking care of things, and things bloom, you know, because you care about stuff. So anyways,
what did you
I
do
left
after
medicine.
That? You loved it after that plant.
I know. My other friends were going to New York to do whatever they could get a job with. I did the same thing. I think it was like music, because I was a pre-med like major. But I also did world music because I just had that interest, and so I did, I don't know, like marketing for like a record labels for like 2-3 years.
Interesting.
And I was studying yoga, and I had a very inspiring teacher in Manhattan, and I don't know. Then after 2-3 years, I was like, oh, this yoga thing, I need to go to India, you know. And you know, I was dating someone, and I had a job, and I had an apartment. I was like, I'm leaving it all. I'm going to move all my stuff back in my parents' home.
Wow.
And I'm just going to buy a ticket from like, I don't know, it was like October, and I'll come back like in, you know, like April, like 6 months ticket.
Wow.
You know, I just, that's what I did. And everybody's like, you're crazy. Like, why are you doing this? And even when I got to India, I was like, I called my sister. I was like, this is the worst idea. Why am I doing this? Everybody's like starting to make a name for themselves in Manhattan. I'm in India. Like, I don't know where I am. I don't know what I'm doing here. But it was like, something I needed to do. You know?
Well, I was gonna say, can you explain a little bit? Because I feel like so many people have that experience of like, I don't know, it's like the path is charmed, or you just feel this pull, and you don't really understand why.
It takes
but
years
you just
for it to unfold. Yeah.
But it was like the calling was loud enough that you were willing to like leave your job, your
it
apartment, and an apartment in
back.
New York is a big deal, you guys. If you don't know about that, leaving an apartment in New York is like extra major because it's
nice
hard.
Apartment. It was pretty cool.
It's hard to find a good apartment in New York for affordable.
It wasn't affordable then either.
But it wasn't.
No, but it was all good. Yeah, I mean, it was just that was the experience I had, you know, and
you just.
But it was years coming up to that. It was like, and then even like in hindsight, I was like, oh, you know, that's what I did when I was 25. I was going to India, but now I remember even like as a graduation gift. My parents, you know, from college, they were like, oh, you know, why don't you, we're going to give you some money for like a trip to Europe. And I was like, oh, great. I want to go to India with it. And they're like, okay, great. It's for Europe.
Wow. So
And
you
I was
had this
so
India bug for a little bit.
It was for years, the India bug.
Okay, I have to fix your hair.
Okay,
Just
thanks.
a little thing.
Thanks,
We did a whole thing on hair earlier,
Yeah,
guys.
hair and makeup.
We're doing
You
no
have to
part
get
right
you
now.
have to get the B-roll for that one.
Okay, that's different. That's the outtakes. Okay.
So anyways, so went off to India. It was meditation. It was yoga. I felt like I was actually going to visit, friends, like these, teachers that I either had read about or I felt connected with, that some of them were alive, some of them hadn't been alive for 50 years.
Wow.
And I was going to different ashrams, and I was one of the only Caucasian, white guy, people around.
Wow.
In fact, actually, people used to come up and be like, "Oh my God, you're like Bill Clinton," because he was president then, and I was like, "Okay, you think I'm Bill Clinton?"
Yeah.
No. I'm 25 years old. I'm white and a male. I'm like, that's about the only thing we have in common.
Yeah.
We don't like anything. Anyways. So when I got back, it was a great trip. It was a terrible trip. It was both of them. It was very extremes. It's just India's tricky, I don't know what it is now, but, I went at a time when I was 25, and it was intense, it was some of the loneliest time of my life, I remember being behind like an ashram at like a sacred mountain, and just being so low and small and feeling so insignificant, and being like, oh my God, what am I doing on this journey? And then I'd look over, and there was this cow, and it was taking a dump, and I was like, okay, I'm taking this a little too seriously, because there's your polarity,
Achoo!
Bless you.
Achoo! Sorry, Freddie, excuse me. Achoo! Oh my gosh.
It brings up stuff. It was a big trip for me. It was powerful.
It sounds like it was really powerful. It sounds like it really got you in touch with your humanity of the lows of feeling so lost.
Definitely.
And where do I fit
but also
in? But
liberation.
then also
feeling
liberation.
Yeah, in feeling connected to doing selfless service and being of service to people, and so when I would actually eventually come back and go back into medicine, the importance of, we're here for some time, and so if you're here with patients, then you're actually sacrificing some of your time, and you get paid for it, but it's still, that's what you're doing with your time. And but I came back saying, this is like a devotional practice. I'd like to make it a devotional practice, and
being
to keep
of service to others.
Yeah, selfless service, being of service to other people, helping people, trying to do practices for myself, that would open my heart, and see where that goes. So when I got back, and there's more to India, but when I got back, my sister, who's always been kind of a very colleague, we're on this kind of trajectory together. She said, why don't you check out acupuncture? And I was like, it's really interesting, because I remember making fun of it some years back. And now that I'm thinking about it, I actually remember going to someone when I was a child for migraines. And, I'd seen allergists for migraines. I'd seen GI specialists. I'd seen pain management specialists. I'd seen neurologists. I'd seen primary care. I'd seen everything. And I still was getting migraines, for years and decades. And it's in my family. So eventually, I said, wow, that actually really helped me. Why don't I check this out? So I went towards schools. I went and tried the acupuncture for headaches and stuff like this. And it just flowed.
Felt right.
It actually flowed, and not everything flows in my life, and I'm sure not for our listeners' lives either, but this actually kind of had a flow, and I was grateful for it. So I did their 4-year master's program, then I did their 2-year doctoral program on top of that, so it was 6 years. And then I worked for another company for 2-3 years, starting my practice, and then we opened up this place about 10 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a story.
Wow. Will you tell me when you said that it had a flow to it? Was it you felt like you were in flow, or was it doors just sort of open and it was sort of easy to just sort of create that path?
It was the right time for me. It was I was managing a yoga studio, so I was busy doing something else. I was going to school. I was enjoying it. The school kind of resonated with my interest in spirituality and medicine. I was academically doing well. I was passing the, different level exams, seemingly with ease to be able to actually put acupuncture points in people and to eventually get a license and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
it felt right.
It felt right.
Yeah.
It really was. It just, that was my path. That was my path with going into acupuncture, and I mean, and even way before this, I remember even saying like, I want to have this center. I want to do this holistic thing. And then people were like, oh great, so what's your role in it? I was like, oh yeah, I'm not even trained to do anything yet. This was like way before I even like went to school for anything.
Yeah,
I was just interested in like, having like a center where people would do what now I call holistic medicine.
Wow.
That was how it worked.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like you had a vision. I think that's so important, is like, because I feel similarly. I've like sort of had this vision, and it's been since even like high school, and it's it morphed, and I didn't really like know what it was, and like the more that I do this work, it's like, oh yeah, and it flows, but it doesn't mean there's not obstacles and stuff. But it just you're just in this path, and it just feels like it's going in the direction that's meant to be. And the vision is strong.
So glad it does, and it's great. We all have our desires of like, I want to do this, or I want to achieve that, and if it's supposed to happen, then it will, or it does. And in this case, I never would have, thought I would have gone to acupuncture. I never thought I'd be out in California.
Yeah.
Without like certain circumstances, bringing us out here. Like my sister came out here first, and I was tired of the East Coast. Didn't want to and it's been a totally different life being out here for the last 15 years. 17 years, whatever it is.
You have the vision, and then the path sort of unfolds, and I think what's so important, and I talk about this a lot, is that you have the vision, but I think you have to be open about how you're going to get there. And like you're touching on is like, you didn't know it was going to look like this, but it seems like it's everything you dreamed of and more.
Yeah, you keep working on it. You're like, we all have visions, we all have dreams and stuff like this, and you keep thinking on it, and I'm sure we think about it, most all of us, probably every day, probably many times throughout the day. And just over time, it's like, yeah, that idea, what I really liked, that doesn't do it. That's actually not me at all, know? And actually this thing maybe is more me than I thought it was, or even that can change too.
Yeah.
So, at this point in the game, we're doing the clinic, and, it feels really good. It's a good space.
It's an
There's
awesome
great
space.
practitioners here. There's, I think now we have like 14 or 15 different modalities.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's not just acupuncture. I mean, that was my thing. In 2007, it was my wife and I. We just opened up. We just opened up a small place, and then people were like, oh, do you have some space in your office? I was like, sure, and to rent, and sure, and just grew, and then everybody's like, oh, this place is too small. We need a bigger space. And so we went on a search to find a bigger space, and now we're in this space, which we've been in for the last couple of years. And I think that's one of my dreams, is just if we can do something to help people feel better, then that's good.
Yeah. It's a perfect segue to my next question I want to ask you. Will you explain to me what's your paradigm or concept for wellness and healing?
Yeah. Okay, definitely did not grow up this way.
Okay.
Because like we grew up in like every time we had a cold, we got like antibiotics, and like and I remember like we didn't always eat the best food and all that stuff, and there just wasn't that consciousness.
No.
But now I think more and more, what is my philosophy in medicine? I think a lot of it has to do with when patients come in. They're coming because they're not feeling well. There's something that's bothering them. And it's oftentimes, and I know you have your own theories and philosophies on this just from the work you do, you're trying to kind of help like turn it a little bit. Like maybe, something's, they keep doing this and this and this, and it's not working. Something's, it's bringing them disease or unhappiness. So you're just trying to like, let me just kind of work with you. Let me try to make a relationship with you if it's a good fit, so that we can go on this journey together, just to kind of like maybe turn this boat a little bit. And if we can just turn it, which is probably the most trickiest part, then you can just go straight with, how we turned it, and now you're going into different direction. The direction's changed.
Yeah.
So I think that's more and more, what I'm trying to do is, get to know my patients, find out what their chief concerns are, try to use the strategy I've been trained, which is Chinese medicine, to, do a good evaluation, do a good exam, get better and better at looking at their tongue and pulse, which is part of Chinese medicine, is you do something called tongue and pulse diagnosis, because that helps us to put together a picture.
Yeah.
then in the end, you come up with a Chinese medicine diagnosis, and then you put it together as treatment strategy based on that diagnosis, and then you choose acupuncture points based on that treatment strategy, and Chinese herbs or other lifestyle recommendations based on the treatment strategy. So I think what I try to do is, as a meditation practice myself, and I think of some of my great teachers in my life, deeply, deeply care about the person, like authentic, and I say to myself, I'm saying this to myself to kind of get it deeper in myself, just to, like a devotion, try to care about them, because most people don't feel cared for, or they don't feel supported, either in their job, or in their family, or or they just don't feel supported. And I hear this so much, or I know we all hear this. So if I can just kind of work on that vibration of trying to be supportive to people, and like coming from like a loving kindness energy, almost like I have a desire to remove whatever obstacles in you, like I have a hunger to like take that away, for my own self-serving interests, then you'll feel better. You'll feel better. Wow. I mean, it just reminds me of like one of my strongest teachers. Her name is Amma, and she hugs people. That's her thing. And she does, Dharma talks, and she does meditation practices, and she does. But at the end of the day, you go up and you have a token, and when they call up your number or whatever, like, so you go up and you can get a hug.
I've heard of her.
Yeah, and she hugs like.
A friend told me about her.
Oh my God, you gotta see it. I mean, I've been following her for, I don't know, 20 plus years. I traveled with her in India for over a month.
Wow.
And when she comes to LA every year in June, I go see her, and I see her hug people, and that's what she wants to do. She sees you as like Lord Krishna. She just wants to, just embrace you, and she just wants to, chew up whatever is hurting you.
Wow.
Out of her own, that's like a mother would like just want to protect her child.
Yeah.
And doesn't mean sometimes she's not tough on people. Yeah. But she hugs, I don't know, when she comes to town here, I don't know, 2,000, 4,000, 5,000 people a night.
That's incredible.
And when in India it was like, I don't know, 25, 35,000 a day. She's just hugging. It's like chew, 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 and she's just so present.
Wow.
So when I think like after I see 12 patients there, whatever it is, it's like oh, long day. It's like that's nothing. Like if you can tap into that vibration of really wanting to just like be with somebody, hear what they're saying, use whatever modality you've been trained to help turn the ship a little bit, so that they can feel better. That's to me, that's holistic medicine.
Wow. I've never heard it described that way.
Yeah.
But I so get it, because I feel like
that's what I try to do.
Psychotherapy is part of what you're taught, is that the healing happens in the relationship, and I will often say like a spiritual experience happens in the relationship between two people.
Yeah.
And so it's just sometimes I feel like just witnessing somebody's story,
right,
and showing them this unconditional positive regard,
that's
in and of itself is healing.
That's
and you do that, you do the same thing, and then you take it to another step and work on the body and the meridians.
But
right?
It could be the acupuncture, it could be talk therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be, prolotherapy, it could be,
whatever.
it could be herbal medicine. Those are just tools. It's not the wand, it's the magician. I used to play drums a lot. I still play drums a lot. Well, not so much, but
I love that it's not the wand, it's the magician.
Oh yeah. I used to say to my drum teacher, because I studied drums for so many years, I'd say, Jim, like, these drums are tuned right. That's why it doesn't sound right. I was like, they're not set up right. And he made that comment. He's like, that's the sticks don't matter. The drumsticks don't.
They don't matter.
That doesn't matter.
And I love how you talk about the energy too.
Yeah, well, I think that's what I do.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to do more of. But you do have to kind of tap into that. You have to kind of go beyond your own, self-interest, and you have to go beyond. I mean, you just practice this.
And what exactly do you do to get into that space?
Meditation can be your route. Meditation's been very big to me.
No, we were going to talk about that.
How do you get into the space of caring for somebody? I mean, I talk at the Chinese medical school because they graduate, I don't know how many 100 students a year, and then I talk, and then that's what it comes down to. Like, how do I build my practice? That's the thing. And it's like, you build your practice when you really care about your people. They come in the door, and you're like, oh, Miss Jones, I am so happy to see you, and you have to be authentic.
Oh,
because like people, I mean, you'll trick a lot of people, but in the end, if you can really tap into that, you'll do much better. So you got to tap into that and care for people. And even if like they don't show up, or if they're like, what happened, Mrs. Jones? I haven't seen Miss Jones in like a month. I was supposed to see her in a week.
You call her
or email, hey, I just want to check on how you're doing. And it's like you're saying, like, I actually really care about you. And sometimes it sounds like I care more about you than you care about yourself.
Which I find is often the case when you're a healer.
Yeah.
Is that and I think it's part of what you teach people. And I always think of the adage like, I will love you until you love yourself.
Yeah.
And that's part of what we do.
And I think that's the strength of a caregiver, is how deep can they get into that. Like Amma, this woman, she gets in there pretty deep. Wow. And she's an inspiration for me. So that's also helpful. How do you get to that level? Have someone in your life that's inspiring, that's helpful. That you say, I mean, they talk about, I don't know if this is, different theories, but like in a Buddhist concept, they sometimes talk about there's like, 3 treasures to a meditation practice, or like 3 treasures if you're going to like really go the distance, like, because sometimes things get tough. Yeah. And then so you say, well, things are tough, so I'm going to just...
Not today.
Yeah, I'm not going to do this today.
Yeah.
So, number 1 is it's really good to have, and they call it taking refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So Buddha, I guess is supposed to be this enlightened being, male or female, whatever, but it's just something that's supposed to be inspiring to the individual. So as a clinician, like, you just need to have someone inspiring in your life. Or as a patient, if you have a caregiver that's inspiring to you because they really are sharing this energy of like open heart and love and joy. Yeah. That's good stuff. So that's one. And then there's supposed to be Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. Dharma means like your own personal desire, like I just want to learn, I just have this craving to improve myself. And then Sangha is supposed to be like some type of community that supports you.
Beautiful.
Yeah, like the 3 pillars. Yeah, so like so like in therapy, you might have like group sessions. But
where then people help support each other. Yeah.
But then there's also the importance of having like individual counseling, which has its own benefits. So I don't know where this is going, but that's the thoughts.
No, I love it. So it was community. It was this internal desire to want to do that, and then it's somebody that inspires you.
That's exactly it.
And it can be like you were speaking about this woman, the hugging lady.
Yeah, she's inspiring to me. That's my
Buddha.
top. Yep. Or Buddha, or
different people,
or a family member, or someone's like, no, I don't want a family. It's my dog. Then it's your dog because they just unconditionally
love
you. Exactly.
No, man.
It doesn't have to be a person. It could be like, I've had people be like, you know what, I meditate and I think on a candle, like just the concept of like fire or flame or light, and that's my inspiration. It's not even a person.
Yeah.
So
nature. So many people go out to nature and feel like so like enlivened after that, and come back and
great
feel
example.
renewed. Or traveling. I love traveling and seeing different cultures. Like I come back with new eyes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's my theory on medicine.
I love
like, that's
it.
what I want to. It's what I'm trying to do.
Oh, it's so beautiful, and it's why you're so good at what you do, and why you have this thriving practice, because you really, really care.
I try to care. I do care. Thanks.
You know what we should talk about? Let's talk about what we were talking about before, which is I thought it was so important. We were talking about, so as healers, right, there's this energy that we try and transmit, and we're also working with people that are suffering a lot of the time.
Right.
And so you were talking about how your ritual every day, you take a shower when you get home just to like cleanse your energy.
I do.
Yeah, I think that's important. People need to know that.
I think it makes a difference. I have a friend who, works in the ER, and like when he goes home, like all of his garments get like left off in the garage, and then he just
doesn't bring them in the house.
No, you don't want to bring them in the house. Like it's like, in fact, that's a very good. It segues not segue, but just as a point on this. I remember about a year ago, I asked my dad, and this kind of answers your question a little bit too. Who's a urologist? He's been practicing for like 50 years. Or 45, whatever it is, but half a century, a long time. And I said, Dad, like, any words of wisdom? Like, any pearls? Like, I mean, can you throw me a bone? Like, something like that you've learned, like, after 50 years of caring people, like, 1 or 2, like, what have you gotten better at? You know? And I think what he was saying is, you know, his ritual of like,
Ooh.
when you are a doctor, you tap in is like, this is what he got better at over time.
Mm-hmm.
When you are a doctor, you tap into that role. And then when you are done being doctor and you go home to your, say, to be family member, or, hey, now I'm hanging out with friends, so now I'm friend, you know, or now I'm like doing my own time. So like I'm jogging myself or hiking by myself. So I'm doing like Brendan time. You tap into those different parts of yourself with more ease. So he's saying the ability for him to disconnect from like doctor mentality to now having his own time got better.
So important.
Yeah. So
important, because I
anyways,
love what
ritual
you said.
for me. Yeah. I like to energetically, you know, when I go unconscious and go to sleep, you know, in the evening time, like that shower is like, that's the one.
Yeah, gets
you know?
you set.
Yeah. It just if the day's been great or if the day's been terrible, you know, you wash it away without judgment. You know, although I want to hold on to the good ones, but you know, that's practice equanimity. You know, you can't.
That's right.
If you want to push away the bad stuff, it's not fair to hold on to the good stuff.
It's true. Yeah.
It's
just going to cause suffering. Either
way,
you want the good stuff or the bad stuff. Because then if you need the good stuff, then you're a victim. You're held hostage by needing the good stuff.
Right.
So yeah.
Yep.
I love Jack Kornfield talks about Buddhism and says, this is Buddhism in 2 words: let go.
Yeah.
It's like, boom, done. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to try that.
Yep.
No, I love that.
That's... Anyway, so that's one of my rituals. And evening time is to just... I think that's helpful for a lot of people. Because even if you're not a doctor, or say if you're a waiter or waitress, or say a car mechanic, or whatever you do.
Yeah, you're serving others.
Yeah, and you know, like, it's nice to go have some reconnect time with, you know, the universe, or whatever you want to call it, when you go unconscious and you go to sleep. You know, pure that. So, I don't know.
We're talking about such good stuff. I mean, we talked about how
we
are a vessel for the healing, and that can even be if you're not in the healing profession, like you said. I think any interaction between 2 people at the bank, on the street, saying hello. I mean, I talk to people all day on the street, and I just naturally do it, but I think that there's like a healing thing to that, but then also pointing out, too, that you cannot just continue to give, and that it's important to have a ritual and have a time where you plug back in, and you know, if you need to cleanse the energy, you know, you have some way that you cleanse the energy and that you plug back in so that you can continue to give. Because sometimes I think people hear, you know, be of service, and you can't do that until you're burnt out.
Yeah, burnt out, right.
Yeah. So there's that balance that you...
And meditation can be a great vehicle for people if I mean, I still think a hot shower in the evening just feels great because you just relax. But whatever. But meditation can be, and that's one I practice every morning when I get up. That's my thing. You know, even if it's just 5-10 minutes. And it usually is somewhere between that and, I don't know, 20 minutes. It's not long. When I get up before the day starts, I sit at the side of the bed and I just practice breathing. You know. You know, in the spirit of just making myself more present, you know, letting go of, you know, anyways, I don't know.
No, I'm a big meditator. I talk about meditation on here all the time. For me, it's connecting to the divine wisdom of the universe, and it's recharging. And so I think of meditation as listening to God and praying as talking to God.
Right, I like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my only prayer that I do is, God, where will you have me go? What will you have me do? What will you have me say to whom? That's how I start every day. And then I meditate, and I have got to tell you that my higher power, the universe, it talks to me.
Right.
And that is one of my missions, is to help people get in touch with that that voice that's our truth, our spirit. And often I will find when I'm helping people that when I'm so present with people, I will innately know what to do or what to say to them. Do you ever have moments like that? Like you're like, this person's suffering from this thing, and you're so present with them, and then you're like, yeah, this, that, and you just know, and it's like, whoa, that did not come from me.
Right. Yo, yeah.
And I just want to tap into that as much as I can.
Right, and the more you in the mind trying to like devil that up, the further it's away. Yeah, I agree with that. So it has to come from a quiet space within.
A quiet space within. I'm taking that.
You got it. It's yours.
I'm using that for something.
Sure.
I feel like I had one more thing that I felt like we should
how
talk
did we
about,
do?
but what was it? How did you get here?
How
What's
did
your
I-
paradigm for
Yeah,
healing?
get that one.
Meditation.
We got
And
meditation.
is there anything else you want the world to know? What's one practice you think that people can do today if they want to, I don't know, become more aligned or
Yeah.
heal something, or what would
Oh,
be
that
one
was it.
thing?
Yeah.
Anything you got?
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. The one that's coming to my mind is breathing. Just to practice breathing. When you're not feeling good, breathe. You know.
That just made me take a really nice big breath.
And I haven't. I gotta breathe too. I think we don't get education on. And I'm not really just quoting a colleague of mine who said this isn't my stuff, but we don't get a lot of training on it, like how to do conflict resolution with just first breathe. Like you learn it maybe in a Lamaze class for childbirth, but I think that's perhaps one of the only spaces that we learn the importance of, like, you don't learn it like in kindergarten when there's issues of, like, my daughter's in kindergarten and it's like I want this toy, or I want this toy, or I want to be in this game, I don't want you to be in this game, like nobody's teaching, or that doesn't seem to be a really hot subject of our first nature is to tense up, right? But actually a good practice might be to breathe and see what happens from that. It doesn't have to be a meditation. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm going to practice meditation, because some people may be, that's too religious for me. It's like, okay, don't worry about the meditation.
It seems too hard.
Too hard. I'm not good at meditation, so it's my mind is too a monkey mind, so it's not for me. Which whatever, that's a whole other story.
I know. I'm like, it's for everyone, and everybody has the monkey mind.
Right, and if you didn't have a monkey mind, then
you wouldn't need meditation.
Why would you meditate? Yeah, it's the only person that should is like you and me, or I'll speak for myself. Who's got a monkey mind. That's why I practice. And anyways, so
I love that, because you're talking about the whole, like, the physiological response to conflict, like you tense up, and it's like if you physically relax your body, that also affects how you're feeling.
Right.
I teach people this cognitive triangle where it's like thoughts, feelings, behavior. And if you switch any one of those, they're all connected and all change. So if you're in a space of tension and you relax your body, you will actually feel like there's more space and that you are more calm. And then you can act from a place.
Yeah, better actions.
And have more clear thoughts.
I mean, that's a good one.
Oh, breathe.
That's a good one. I mean, it sounds so trite, but it's okay, but it's a good one.
I thought that was not trite at all. I actually thought it was really whatever the opposite of trite is.
Oh, okay, thanks. Yeah. I mean, it's that's what I would say for one's healing. And as best as you can, I like that concept of the three pillars of trying to cultivate a open heart, like a kind heart, cultivating loving kindness in your heart. That's and maybe that means hanging out with people that are supportive and kind and loving, because that's a good sangha, that's a good group. Or maybe it means as an individual you go read up on it and because you know your own interests, so go, I mean, there's a billion books on this stuff, so, or maybe it means spend a little time focusing on some of the people that have unconditionally loved you in your life, that kind of energy, that helps open our heart. I think that would be, it's, a few thoughts going on at once, but I do remember the last thing on this one, and they even though they're not all completed sentences, but there's a theme here.
Okay.
I remember I went to see a day-long meditation retreat in Marin County, Spirit Rock, and Jack Kornfield, who's a famous, Jack. Yeah.
I just talked about him.
Oh, cool, that's right.
Yeah, Let Go.
Yeah, Let Go. It was with him, and at the end there was like an opportunity for Q&A, and people were asking some tough questions, and stuff that I was like, oh, I'd really like to hear his response to that, like, I'm suffering from, it's this severe, terrible cancer, whatever, some terrible disorders and diseases, and really thick things and really challenges, and his responses were all good. But the one that I remember, this was now probably 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, was at this day long. Someone said, how do I know if my meditation practice is working for me? How do I know this is a good practice? And I was like, oh, wow. that seems so 101. But it's like, I really want to hear his answer, you know? And he said, like, if the practice helps to open your heart, then this is a good practice for you. If it doesn't help to open your heart, then this is a bad practice for you.
Wow. That
was it. So whatever you do, if I can help open my heart, or, you know, people, if that's some coming out of this thing, you know, like, that would be my message, is if we can do some things to help open our heart, then it's a good practice. Then it's good medicine. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Is that all right?
That's so good. If we can do something to open your heart, that's good medicine.
Yeah. And breathing sounds good, but you know, that's that's an idea.
Yeah, so that's it. That's got to be your tagline. That's so beautiful, and
I didn't write
and it's
it,
good
but I'm
medicine. I
I'm
love that
regurgitating
medicine can mean so many things. Oh, our daily medicine, our medicine for others. I love it.
And I don't want to just discount, like, you know, urgent care, emergency care, where it's
sometimes
like,
you need that.
Yeah, you get into a bad car wreck and you're all bashed up. It's like, you know, don't come see me. You know,
if
go to ER.
If you're bleeding,
life-threatening thing, gunshot wound. You know, go get that thing taken care of. It doesn't matter about, you know, love and caring. Let's just take that bullet out. You know, and you make sure you don't, like, pass away, or, you know, heart attack. It's like, that's like emergency care, but healing care. I think it's that's the holistic stuff, if possible.
Such good stuff. Such good stuff. Oh my God, thank you.
Did we do all right?
I thought we did great.
You got in there?
We'll see what everybody else thinks.
Yeah.
We'll see what the comments
Happy to
are.
continue the conversation.
So want to continue the conversation. You guys, I'd love to continue the conversation with you in the comments section. I pose a question every week. I will think of a question, unless you've got a question that you can think of that you'd want to hear people say.
Exercise.
Oh, I love this guy. See that?
I don't know.
Tell us one exercise that you do, or that you can do, or that you're going to do, or that you're going to do right in this minute to open your heart. We would love to hear what you have to say in the comment section. So we are here at Lotus East West Medical Center.
So good.
You can find Brendan and his team of skilled practitioners on their website. They're also on Instagram. Where else can they find you guys?
On our website, we've got to do the Facebook.
Oh, Facebook.
Twitter,
go like their page.
Instagram.
They're on Twitter.
Blogging.
Oh, they're blogging.
Yeah.
Sometimes I know you're in acupuncture magazine sometimes.
Sometimes Acupuncture Today. We've a few articles in there, sure. Where else can they find us? Here in Santa Monica, or wherever else we're going to be.
Come visit in Santa Monica, make an appointment, come see this incredible...
If we can help.
Incredible healer, and I can be found on my new website. It's very, very cool. I'm very excited about it. It is sassy, just like me. Thank you so much.
A little bit sass, yeah.
It's a little sass. It's a little sass, but it was sass for your spirit. And it's youarecomplete.com, Instagram and Twitter at youarecomplete. I am Snapchatting every day. If you want to see the behind the scenes of this, you gotta get on Snapchat. It's You Are Complete B. I love spending this time with you and with all of you. Always remember that you are complete, you are whole, and you are miraculous. We'll see you next week. Bye!
Cheers.
Yeah!
Thanks, Bianca. Cheers.